And there's a few gaps happening, and the Japanese have made it way. So McCann having a good run, but we've got 3 out in front. Takahashi, Ishihashi, both of Japan, and Lydia Simon of Romania. So at halfway, they were on 2:23 pace. It was very quick. Onjuro is the 4th runner, just in the background there from Kenya. This is Takahashi, who was really the instigator of the move. She made the first break. Ishihashi quickly went with her, and Simon, and then probably a half a dozen came down to 4 or 5, and now we've come down to 3. But there's a lot of running left to be done in this race, but she looks pretty good.
Yeah, she's looking good, Bruce, and a good aggressive move at the turnaround on Anzac Parade. She's taken the lead back there and has maintained it, pushing the pace down a couple of minutes and completely disintegrated that lead pack of 12 or 15 runners that have just been scattered in the wake behind her. But there's still a lot of running to go. Lydia Simon back there looking pretty comfortable too. Wanjuru, who has decided that she wants to try to get back up with this lead group of 3. So she'll work hard over the next couple of K and try to make contact. But this lead group of 3 are doing all of the running at the moment, following that blue line around another one of the corners. The corners breaking up the rhythm of these runners. A downhill section. It is a very difficult course, and it will be taking its toll on the legs and the muscles of these runners, and I think that will be called in over the last 5 kilometres of the race. So there's a 7-second gap, which is not an enormous amount, but she's opened that up over about the last 3 or 4 kilometres. So it's fairly significant, but it's still quite possible to pull that in over the closing half of this marathon, because there's still a lot of hard running, a lot of it.
It's not so deep at this particular point, but on the left, as you can see, we have had huge crowds out here, and nothing wrong with Kieran's form, which suggests if LaRoupe's gone past her, that LaRoupe is running really well. So we're thinking about 10th, 11th place for this group at the moment. Takahashi and Simon are leading by 20-odd seconds from Ishihashi, and then about another 15 to 20-second gap to Chepchumba. But look at the support for Kieran McCann, and still running strongly. Yeah, she's still running very, very well, Bruce. Coming up to the 30K marker now, 1:42.30. So it's a good solid pace. This is 4th and 3rd we're looking at. Deep Chepchumba, 29-year-old mum from Kenya, and in front of her Ishihashi. It's about 2:25 pace through 30K. So it's slowed down a little bit from the 2:23, 2:24 pace that we saw earlier. You can get an indication of the gap that this lead group of 2 have opened up, and they're gradually pulling away from Chepchumba of Kenya. And I can't help but think that Simon is looking pretty good there, and has got I'd say a good chance to win this race, although it's still very early, so it's hard to tell. Takahashi grabbing her special drink, little loop to grab that as she runs past. She's actually got 2 drinks there. Probably one's a fairly concentrated electrolyte and glucose drink. The other one will be water to replenish some of the lost fluid. Starting to metabolize a fair amount of their protein through the training sessions and the mileage that they do. Maintaining their training sessions and working at their heart rate zone that teaches their body to become wonderful fat burners. Here's Karen McCann. Karen's still running quite strongly and looking good in 13th place there. And let's hope that she's able to pick up a couple, because there's still a lot of running to do, and there are a lot of those women in front of her that are going to find the hills that are coming up very, very difficult. Past the Italian Visconti, who we saw at the start of the race. So Karen still having a very good run here, but the gold and silver is going to be fought out, you would think, between Takahashi and Simon, the Chepchumba. When we saw that overhead shot, we saw the distance between Chepchumba and also the 2 leaders. So there's Karen McCann as we go back to the leaders, Takahashi and Simon, stride for stride inside the last 10 kilometres of the women's marathon. So they're only about a minute and a half away from that 35K split. But Takahashi has really made another decisive move. It's been the aggressor all through this second half of the race. and Simon unable to respond. Another one of the 6 hills in this closing stages, and Takahashi still looking very, very strong and very smooth. Hardly changed her rhythm and technique. 35k, so 158 and a half, so spot on. 222 pace, so it's really actually kicked down quite considerably. So they've actually got to that 35k split quicker than what I thought, which is an indication of just how aggressive Takahashi is being out there. And I think, you know, Simon was very close to her threshold, and Takahashi is just broke her going up that last hill. Just temperature and 90% humidity, something like this is almost ideal conditions.
Almost to 2 hours. Kieran McCann is in 13th place. Takahashi, Simon, Chipchumba are the leaders through 35k. Here's Kieran. Just her left arm there, just falling away a bit, but she's still going okay, and the support she's getting will help her. Still got a bit of knee lift there.
Yeah, I think she's still looking strong. You know, once she lost contact with that lead bunch just before the turnaround, it was really a matter of Karen just trying to run her own race to get out there. She knows that this is going to be a hard race, especially with the hills in the closing stages. And all she has to do is just run her own race, run strongly up the hills, try to relax and run smoothly and quickly down the hills, and try to pick up this Fernandez. And Fernandez was one of the runners who was aggressive in the early part. And this is great for Karen because she can actually focus and pick up runners and really target them.
Fernandez was 7th at 30k. Now, she has lost a lot of ground, but there's a chance that Kieran could be in the top 10 at this point. She may be around 10th, 11th. Here's Wanjuro, who's in 4th place. Remembering that Chipchumba, her Kenyan teammate, is 3rd.
Crowd in the stadium watching it on the big video screen, and they will just give her such an incredible lift as she enters the stadium. A steep downhill section for her to negotiate down the ramp into the tunnel, and the Japanese flags all along the course. They've waited so long for this gold medal. They've had so many great marathon runners in the past, in the men's and women's, but never been able to secure that elusive Olympic gold medal.
So close now to fulfilling that wish, with these huge crowds cheering her on. The Japanese runners had superb support through Centennial Park in the early stages of the race, and no matter how tired she might be feeling, she is about to get an enormous lift, as she's not getting it right now, but when she moves into this stadium, there will be a huge roar. Japan has won 4 gold medals so far at these Olympics, all in judo, which is also a national and revered sport in their country. But if they could have wished for any gold medal at these Olympics in Sydney, I would have thought it would be in the marathon. And they are so close to getting their wish. But Takahashi's lead over Simon is around about 30 seconds. There's Chipchumba. Look at crowds in front of them as they get close towards the stadium. Chipchumba, remember, no Kenyan has been able to manage a gold medal, male or female, in an Olympic marathon. Still the Japanese flags are waving in the breeze. In pretty good conditions. Kieran McCann is in 12th position, 5 minutes behind Naoko Takahashi, which means she's running at about 2:27, 2:28 pace. As Takahashi keeps looking back, she'll get some directions here. She'll know the routine when she comes in through the tunnel and into the stadium, and she is oh so close. A wonderful crowd in here, waiting in expectation, ready to give out a mighty cheer. We saw Simon turn, Simon raising an effort in 2nd place. We're ticking up towards 2:20, but surely the gold medal at long last will go to Japan.
Well, I just hope, Bruce, that she knows that she's well and truly clear. Simon, the telephoto lens is a little bit deceptive. I think she's still got a very, very safe lead here. Takahashi starting to struggle a little bit. She's still got a lap and a half to do inside the stadium, but so I think she's still pretty clear, and it really is one of the great things.
She's just lifted Simon a bit, hasn't she? She might just sense that Takahashi is tiring, but you get a better view here, Dig. It's still a long gap. It's probably 120, 130, 140 metres. And we are oh so close now, going down the tunnel and about to come out into the stadium.
It's almost the ultimate experience for a marathon runner to be clear 100 metres, 80 metres in front, to run into the Olympic Stadium, to be representing your country from a country where marathon running is almost a religion. It's one of the greatest things that any athlete could ever experience. And running into the stadium through the tunnel, it's dark, it's cool in the stadium, and then she'll run out into the arena.
Is there a greater moment in the life of a distance runner than this? This is what they dream about. So she has one lap to go. Simone comes in behind her. Takahashi on the run for home. With about 350 metres, you can see Simone in the background. She can hardly lift her legs, Takahashi, as the clock ticks over. The Olympic record is 2:24.52. And she's going to be well inside Joan Benoit's record that was set in Los Angeles back in 1984. It has been a performance to remember as Simone is sprinting in the back straight, absolutely sprinting after Takahashi. She trails her by about 80 metres. Surely she can't get to her, but Takahashi can hardly lift her legs here. She's made all the running. No Japanese runner, male or female, has won an Olympic marathon. Kitae-san of Korea represented Japan when they were under Japanese rule in Berlin in 1936. We've waited a long, long time for this moment, and she is so dog-darn tired right now. She knows the line is getting close. Simone will come into view behind her. But what a performance by Takahashi. One to remember. More than 1.5 minutes inside the Olympic record. What a performance. And Simone coming home strongly for second. And Chipchumba's also in the stadium.
One of the most courageous marathons I think I've ever seen. Took the lead, aggressive, right from before halfway, dominated the race, ran strongly, surged up the hills over one of the most toughest marathon courses that any athlete can run in conditions that are getting warmer and warmer. Simone, so valiant, fought so hard to maintain contact, but was unable to match it going up the Anzac Bridge. Lost contact there. From then on, it was Takahashi running solely, buoyed on by the great crowds. Chipchumba
still inside Benoit's Olympic record. They're the two, first and second. What a moment there as Chipchumba's coming in. 8 seconds the margin between Takahashi and Simone. And now we're ticking over to a minute between second and third. We're past a minute, so Chipchumba's going to be inside Benoit's record, just, I think, of 2:24.52. So the first three home have run faster than any other women in the short history that they've been running at the Olympics. We've got Chipchumba finishing. Our fourth runner, Wanjuro, is basically running alongside of her. So 3 women inside the old Olympic record on one of the toughest courses imaginable. I don't think Chipchumba realises, but she has finished. She's still going.
Still going. But look, this is what marathon running and championships should be about.
She's asking, Dick. I think someone should pull her up here because she's
fine. She's fine.
She's got the bronze.
The great thing is to be able to come to a championship marathon in good conditions on a good championship course and see the quality runners performing well. Because for so many championship races in tough conditions in Atlanta, in Barcelona, so many of the world championships in Seville,
where the athletes, the quality athletes that have dominated and run so well in the major marathons have been unable to reproduce that form. But here in Sydney, for the first time for many, many Olympics, we're actually seeing the marathon held in conditions that have given the marathon runners a chance to run up to their best. And it's great to see. Here's the fourth athlete coming in, the second Kenyan runner. It's wonderful to see Kenya getting third and fourth. Njura, Njura.
Karen McCann wouldn't be too far away from feeling the stadium right now. Monjuro's going to be fourth place getter. Bigeta Rover of Russia will be in fifth place, and one of the Ethiopians is in sixth place. But we're waiting for Karen McCann. She won't be too far away, the first of the Australians. There's Monjuro fourth, so Kenya 3 and 4 behind Japan and Romania. And our first Australian won't be too far away. Bigeta Rover's just finishing of Russia in sixth place in 2:26.5. There's Takahashi, there's Bigeta Rover, one of the top Russians. So it's about 11 to 12 athletes out there at the moment. The first of the Ethiopians, Alimu. Alimu coming home, 16:67. So still a very respectable time. And Karen McCann's coming to the stadium. Getting a tremendous cheer, as you would expect, and she has 400 metres to run, and she's probably in about 13th place, 12th place at this point, and she's going to come away with a very good finish and a very good time, as well as a strong position.
Well, Karen will be absolutely thrilled. I think she was maybe dreaming of being able to get into that top 6 or that top 8, but she's run a great race. A courageous run, but still full of running, finishing it off here. Coming in great form. National record over 5,000 metres up in Brisbane only a handful of weeks ago. And was looking so comfortable in the early stages when the pack was there, but when the moves were made, she just lost contact, but has fought on bravely over the last 2/3 of the marathon. Coached by Chris Wardlaw from Bulli, up around Wollongong. And she's done us proud, running a great race.
Well inside 2:30, Dig. In fact, she's going to be around about 2:28.40. It's a terrific performance on such a course, on such a stage. And she's got to be satisfied with this effort. Still finishing with a bit of a spring in her step if it's possible. Good on you, Karen.
That's a great one.
Just outside the top 10. She lost contact with the leaders fairly early on, but she then went through maybe a patch or two, but every time we went back to her, she looked terrific. Takahashi, 2:23.14. An Olympic record, taking over a minute and a half off the great Joan Benoit's record set in Los Angeles 16 years ago. Karen McCann, we've been given as 10th place in 2:28.37. So it's Visconti of Italy, who we saw early in the race. So that's a wonderful performance to be inside the top 10.
That's great to make the top 10 the Olympic Games. Karen, been running marathons for over 10 years. Her first one running 2:45, and she's gradually just steadily improved over that 10-year period and has really become and established herself as one of the great marathon runners of Australia. 2:25 personal best.
Well, it's been a great race, hasn't it? There's no doubt about that. Top 8. And we've seen Karen McCann. As we look at the results, Karen McCann has finished 10th behind Takahashi, Simon and Chepchumba. They were gold, silver and bronze. Let's go down to Pat Welsh.
Karen, congratulations. With top 10, we've confirmed that 10th position in the fastest Olympic marathon ever.
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe that it was that quick. Like, the Japanese really put the pace on, and it was amazing. I went through halfway and, you know, a PB by about 2 minutes. So, you know, I gave it my best shot, and, you know, I'm happy. I can't be disappointed with that.
All the way through, listening to Robert De Castella's commentary, he said you were looking so strong.
Yeah, I felt fantastic. I felt really, really good. But as I said, I think the pace was just a bit too quick for me, and you know, it just sort of sort of told on me on the last, you know, 30k or more going over the hills. But you know, that's the way it goes.
Those hills close to the stadium, they're soul destroying, aren't they?
Sorry,
the hills closer, the climbs closer as you get closer to the stadium, they're absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah, they're pretty tough. They are really tough, especially if you're a little bit tired. So, I mean, even I know I was tiring and I was still passing girls. So it was funny actually to pass Tekla LaRue, you know, in the last few K. So she was the favourite.
You put the writing on the wall with that great 5,000 in Brisbane a few weeks ago. You must have felt good coming into this one.
Yeah, I did. It gave me a lot of confidence actually running, you know, Australian record over the 5K because I'd been training for the marathon. So, you know, I knew that once I ran that, I'd run a good marathon.
I've asked most of the Aussie athletes this, but what about the support? You've been out there with them. They've been lining the route, and then to come into this stadium.
They were just screaming the whole way. It was unbelievable, just calling my name, and, you know, it was really nice.
Congratulations, 10th spot, and as I said, the fastest Olympic marathon ever. You've got a lot to be proud of today.
Thank you very much.
All the formulas that you know, but sometimes it just doesn't all come together. But Sue, you know, it's not a bad run from Sue. It's a good solid run. As you said, sub 240 in these tough conditions is still a pretty reasonable sort of an effort.
And Pat Welsh is with Sue now.
So you're just saying to me that that's about the toughest you've had to do it over the second half of the marathon?
Definitely the toughest I've ever run. Oh.
Been over that course before, and
I have. I ran it in April, and I just haven't been able to get right, basically.
about the support out there.
Unbelievable. All the way. Just Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Could you believe that we've seen the fastest Olympic marathon ever over that course?
No, I mean, when I saw the time when I came in, I was just amazed.
Yeah, even Kieran was saying she had to run her PB over the first half of the event, and she still felt like she was losing touch with them.
I thought, you know, 2:26 was going to be a good run on this course. But, I mean, I'm not surprised the Japanese won it. They were very professional in their approach to this race. They've been out here for the last 3 years. They really studied the course.
Does this drive you to want to keep running these marathons and torturing yourself like this?
No, this was always going to be my last race. So.
Well, it's not a bad way to finish in front of a massive home crowd like this and all the support, and you've done great things.